Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I'm very excited to introduce our three panelists for today. First, we have Kathy Nye. Kathy is the County Office of Education's homeless coordinator for Ventura County. Then we have Josefina Garcia. Josefina is the family engagement specialist for Hayward Unified School District. And then we have Yamini Bala. Yamini is a contact administrator and liaison for tutoring service for Voices Academy. Welcome to our panelists and thank you for participating, and your feedback is very valuable to us. And could each one of you please share how your schools collaborated with the SSSIO organization in the past? Kathy?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so thrilled that you're with us. As she said, I work with the Ventura County Office of Education, and I'm the McKinney-Vento liaison. And the McKinney-Vento program is a federally funded program that every single public school has to participate in. And it is the coordination of services and supports to remove the barriers for children that are living in homelessness so that they can attend school. It's, like I said, a federally mandated project. So every single school district, every single county office, every single state has McKinney-Vento liaisons as part of their staff. We often wear multiple hats in our positions. But we are aware of every single child that is living in homelessness in our communities. Now, one thing to explain is that our children are qualified as homeless differently than under the HUD definition. So if they're living in cars or RVs or motorhomes, they're in transitional housing, they're renting garages or places that aren't normally considered homes, they're counted. But also we count the children that are living in motels or hotels, and we count the children that are doubled up in their households. In California, we have huge agricultural programs, or huge agricultural work. And a lot of our agricultural families share a single family home. So you can have 3 to 5 families living in a house together. I share with people a lot of times that the pandemic made that really evident, in that you had 4 families sharing a home, a nice 4-bedroom home. They share the common space, but they all live in separate bedrooms. So when the pandemic hit, 4 of the adults lost their jobs because they were not working in agriculture. Maybe they were sharing about the position of McKinney-Vento, and that, children that are even doubled up in households are considered homeless in the United States under this federal law. So the project that I worked on has come from, or worked with, has come to support those children that are living in homelessness. There are multiple agencies in the community that get together to do things. But the project that we worked on was hygiene kits. So the team came together, and we've done this 2 years in a row. The first year, I had 200 little drawstring bags, and they gathered shampoo, body wash, socks, hats, Band-Aids, toothbrush, toothpaste, a washcloth, I'm just trying to think of all the things, a bar of soap. And I also had bought, that was one of our pandemic years, so we had hand sanitizer, and we had masks, and we had other things that we would put put into these knapsacks, or these little drawstrings bags, and then the drawstring bags were distributed to all the school districts. So somebody's asking in the chat, the McKinney-Vento Act is the federally funded program. I'll type it in the chat when the next person talks. The other thing that we did in that first year was we were also putting together backpacks. And so the team purchased rulers, things of paper, notebooks, colored markers, crayons, and we kind of divided it up. Many other school supplies. So we packed school supplies into the backpacks, and then we packed the hygiene kits into the backpacks. And the first year we did 200, and last year we did 200 again. And so then this is supplemented by funds that my office gets. But this year we distributed backpacks and hygiene kits to over 3,000 students in Ventura County. Our current number of the students that qualify for homeless under this McKinney-Vento Act is right now 5,400. We just had census count in Ventura County, which is something the state of California does in order to identify students that are English language learners, that are students that are living in homelessness or low socioeconomic, has low socioeconomic needs. And the numbers from the school districts in my county were at 5,400 last week.
So next is Josefina Garcia.
allowing this space. So yes, I am Josefina Garcia. I am a family engagement specialist with Hayward Unified School District. I am in the heart of the Bay Area here. So I work strictly with newcomers. And newcomers, what we call newcomers are students and families that are new to the country. A lot of these families are refugees coming from Afghanistan. We have a large population of families that come from Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras. Lately, we have been seeing a rise of families coming from Colombia, Peru, and Honduras. And my job is to connect all of these families to resources in our community. So our first step is to first enroll them in school. And then second is to assist them in applying for Medi-Cal so that they have medical coverage, because most likely all of the students need vaccinations in order to enter schools here in California. And thank you, Kathy, for setting the stage for me, because a lot of our families are classified as McKinley-Vento families that are doubled up, because of course all of our families come in pretty much with what they're wearing, and they have nowhere to live. So housing is a huge hardship, and it is a great challenge in our community because, just as Kathy was saying, they have to rent a room. So you will have a family of 6, 7 in one bedroom until they're able to get established and resettled, because they don't have a bank account, they don't have any type of credit history. They have, like I said, they have nothing. So this is where your organization has been helping me immensely, because for a lot of these families, through your organization, we have been able to gather donations. I have in my what is called my office is like I started a donation closet. So through clothing donations from your organization, thank you, Asha. I think you could share some of my pictures, um, and uh, and just providing the families with basic needs, and that's where I reach out to your organization, just to get those basic needs for the family, whether it's clothing, baby items, just whatever it is my goal of just trying to gather what I can for these families to establish themselves here. So some of these pictures that Asha is going through is that during the summer, you guys had contacted me about doing a food project. It's like, how could we help our families during the summer? So we identified some families. We were doing about 40 meals every Saturday. So I organized the families to come, and they would just do like a pick up and go kind of thing, like a little drive through. So every family that was identified was able to take a meal home on a Saturday. Even though it was one meal, it was still, it meant a lot for them because that's a little extra money they can save on a day. Um, and then the other big project that we've done with your organization is the backpack giveaway. So this, I believe, was the second year, possibly even maybe the third. But I know the second for real, where you have donated 500 backpacks with school supplies to our community. And so this year, our organization, my school district, actually kind of doubled it. So we actually handed out 1,200 backpacks on a Saturday when we did our backpack distribution. And here, these are pictures of what the production line looked like. We all got together on a Saturday, and through your volunteers, we were able to stuff all those backpacks with school supplies. And then on the day of the event, you guys came out and assisted during the event to hand out those backpacks. And then we also have, in partnership with you, is a Saturday Math Academy, where I believe at the moment we have about 90 students that are participating, and it is a virtual session. So we are able to provide at least some tutoring service for those students in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade that need math tutoring, because as we all know, the pandemic did hit hard for a lot of those families that, struggled with technology and learning how to use Zoom and how to get your child connected just to meet with a teacher. So during the pandemic, it did hit everybody in education pretty hard. So we're very thankful that we're able to team up with with you all to have the Saturday Math Academy. And in moving forward, we are working at trying to have a Saturday Math Academy, at least one session per month in person. So we're going through those loops and hoops at the moment to get that set up. And then my other ask is to have conversation circles for all of our newcomer families that need to learn the English language, to learn just the conversational, simple English. And then your continued donations to my closet is going to continue. And I'm actually in the process of expanding my services. So I was just granted a full classroom that I'm going to be converting into a resource center for all of our families, which I was just doing in small numbers in my office, but I've also added I have access to our food bank in our community that I will be able to provide, like, if you could say, a food basket for them to take home. And then, of course, here comes the holidays. And so I have reached out to see if we can put together some holiday baskets for those families that are in need. Because every day, there's that one day that goes by where we have a newcomer family that's new from a country, and we need to get them established and just set them up for success as much as that we can. So
thank you so much, Josephina. Next, we have Yamini Bala. She's the contact administrator and liaison for tutoring services for Voices Academy. Yamini?
Good afternoon, everyone, and Sayam. I am going to start today with a poem. This is an Inlakesh poem. And we start all of our classes with this poem. Students at Voices Academy, where I work, start every day reciting this poem. The idea of Inlakesh comes from a Mayan concept of that you are my other me. It's very similar to the idea of namaste. And Inlakesh is one of the 4 values of our school at Voices. And so I want to invite you all to come off of mute if you're comfortable. We'll just do the English side of this. Our school is a dual language Spanish and English school, but we'll do the English side and you can repeat after me. Inlakesh.
Inlakesh.
You are my other me.
You are my other me.
If I do harm to you,
if I do harm to you,
I do harm to myself.
I do
harm to myself.
If I love and respect you,
If I
love and respect you,
I love and respect myself.
I
love and respect
myself.
Inlakesh.
Inlakesh.
All right, thank you, everyone. We will show a part of a video that just gives you a little bit of an idea of the Voices coding program. So since 2019, the Sci Center of Central San Jose has been partnered with Voices College-Bound Language Academies to do a math and coding project. We include a little bit of character education, some team building time, and math tutoring, as well as coding. So we'll show you a few clips of what the program looks like. Okay, so I'll share a little bit more about the program. What we've noticed with our tutoring program is that it got us our foot in the door of Voices and of the community where we work, and it's allowed us to grow into other areas, really. So I'll talk a little bit about how that happened. In 2019, we started at one school in person with about 10 volunteers and 20-something students. And we just opened enrollment to our 4th school this year, and have about 40 volunteers and upwards of 80 students that join each 10-week sessions. And so one of the ways this happened was from in-person, we were kind of forced to go into our virtual programming during the pandemic. But when we did come back in person last year, we decided to keep the virtual program running as well. So this gave us more opportunities for volunteers and for students to participate. Another thing that we did was we had started out just teaching coding using code.org, which is an online platform where students, as you see on the left, can play. They actually program different games. In this one, it's a dance game using Scratch-based programming. And an area that we expanded to was to include robotics. So now students who come in person build robots out of Legos, and then they use that their coding skills to animate the robots. Something else that we did on our first year, we were able to take students in person on field trips. We wanted them to experience some coding and science-rich environments. So on the left, you see one of our students who is testing out a virtual reality headset at Google at one of our field trips. During the pandemic, we had to get creative, and so we did some virtual field trips. We visited a data center in Mexico through Equinix, all online, and then had to get even more creative. And so we started hosting some spirit days to celebrate the end of each course session, which led us to then start doing a Values Day celebration annually. So for the past couple of years, around the time of Samadhi Day, we have done a Values Day program. At one of our schools, for Values Day, they wanted to celebrate Earth Day because it falls around the same time. So we had an Earth Day event where students helped install a new school garden. And you see the students on the right here, along with the administrators and volunteers who are learning to plant and beautify the school campus. And there were other activities that got added on to teach students more about the environment. So on the left, this is, I believe, a soap making booth where students learn to make soap using natural ingredients. And so something else that happened was, as a result of planting the garden, the students and the administrators would take care of the garden. And one day we received this note from one of the administrators saying that they had harvested all of the vegetables from the garden, and the students made salsa. And so they were really excited that students were so engaged in that, and they wanted to start a cooking workshop. So this led to the San Jose volunteers being invited back to do a nutrition workshop, which just happened earlier this fall. They went to Zoomed into the all-school assembly, where they were able to present about good food choices, nutrition, and eating healthy. So that's kind of been our trajectory so far. We started as a tutoring program, and as you can see, one thing has led to another, which has led to another. And so we are continually exploring more options and more ways to keep partnering between the Central San Jose SSSIO organization as well as Voices, and then to also be able to reach out to more and more of our students and our families.
Yamini, there was a question in the chat. Is this year round? program?
Yes and no. So we have worked through the summer during the pandemic. We were doing Zoom programs during the summer as well. Now that we're in person, since school is out for the summer, we have not been doing a summer program. I think we learned that both the volunteers and students need a break, so we've stopped doing summer classes.
Okay, thank you. Next, this is amazing information, and I know SSSIO organization is doing a lot of collaborative work with you. But as Swami says, you can't, we have to expand more, and we can always give more. So, my next question to the panel is in 3 parts. So can you please expand on number 1, what other opportunities do you see that would benefit the community in a holistic manner? The second part would be any special skills that the volunteers need to fulfill these needs that you have. And the third one is if you could please provide us with some resources so people can get involved in the areas they're in, different cities, different counties, and how people could get involved with their schools to do more service and collaborative work with the schools. Can you please go ahead, Kathy? Yes, you please unmute, Kathy.
Hi. So that's very exciting. And like I shared at the beginning, every single school district in the United States has a McKinney-Vento liaison. And I am happy to share my information. Sarika can share it with you. But if you want to reach out to your local liaison, whether they're in Kentucky or whether they're in the state of Washington, or if they're here in California, I will help you hook up with that person and share the wonderful experiences we have had with in our region in doing that. So that immediately is, that the school down the street from your house has one of me, or the district down the street has one of me there that you can reach out to. So that is available across the nation. And how you can help is the same as Josefina shared. Because I'm at the county level, I go down to all my 20 districts and my 12 and the 12 charters that I work with here in Ventura County. So I kind of serve as an umbrella and serve all of them. So you could go all the way to the top, like me in the county, or you could go to your local school district, because every single one of them is going to have one of me there, if that makes sense. Besides the backpacks and the hygiene kits, I'm right now what's called the season of giving. So right now I do a coat drive. I collaborate with One Warm Coat through San Francisco, and they set up a drive, and I've already received 100 coats from a local Kiwanis club. And then what I do is I have an open house day, and all the school districts come and they gather up the coats to take back to their students. I also do a gift card drive where we just have, because a lot of school districts aren't allowed to spend public funds on gift cards. So we invite people to give me gas cards or fast food cards or a Target card or something like that. And then I can give those to the families, as the need comes up. We'll find out, okay, a family just found out that they've been evicted and they need some things. So we can give them a card so they can get dinner that night. We have a very robust food program here in Ventura County. So that's, I don't necessarily have to do food at the schools because we have a drive-through somewhere in our county every single day for families to get boxes of food. But all of our high schools have set up wellness centers. And in those wellness centers, they have backpacks, they have hygiene kits, they have snacks for kids, they have coats for kids. And so I help with getting those things down to the local school level. Skills, for those types of things, there's not a big skill need. Our state has initiated a free tutoring program for any child in learning loss. So we've got that. And in Southern California, we also have School on Wheels that specifically targets homeless students for tutoring, and they set them up at the hotels. They set them up at learning centers. So we have a lot of free tutoring going on in Southern California for students that are homeless. And resources, it's just partnering with other community-based organizations, whether it's United Way or whether it's a Kiwanis or a Lions or a Rotary, that kind of expands the community that you can reach out to. Did I hit all those points?
Yes, thank you. We have about 7 minutes. So if Josefina, can you take a few minutes and then we'll pass it on to Yamini.
Right,
you.
right. Yeah. Kathy shared quite a bit that can also apply here to like the Bay Area. But I just wanted to add that, check first with your children's or your community school and your neighborhood school to see what their needs are. If you can't get to the administrator, then at least a teacher on the campus. And then there's also the national PTA, and PTA stands for Parent Teacher Association. They are everywhere in California. So usually most schools do have an association established at the school site. So that's another way that you can connect to do school-based volunteer work. And also in volunteering, check with your local school districts, because you can, each school district has a volunteer process where you can come into the school and, give your service in whichever which way that might be, like doing a garden, a cleanup day, providing meals for an event. There's just so many ways that you could go about it. And I will, so seriously, there's like no special skills. It's just the passion of giving, and volunteering is all it really takes. And I will share some time for anybody else.
Thank you so much, Josefina.
Yes, I agree. I think Kathy and Josefina touched on a lot of things that are applicable here too. One thing that I'll add is right now, as a result of the pandemic and learning loss that has happened throughout the pandemic, there is a lot of funding going towards something called the Expanded Learning Opportunity Program. It is, at least in California, what that looks like is that there are dollars available for schools to do before or after school programs. So essentially expanding the learning day. And at least in my experience, we don't have teachers, we don't have people who want to come early and stay late any more than they already have to, because they're still working every night, they're still planning and grading homework, and the job doesn't end when they leave the school, right? And so to extend the learning day for existing school staff is very difficult. So that is something that you could potentially explore in your district. I agree with Josefina that you can start with your neighborhood schools or with your community schools and ask what kinds of opportunities might be opening up for either before or after school programs. The schools might have funding where they could then invest in things like snacks, and then you all could come and volunteer. They might be able to pay a support staff or somebody who usually does yard duty to stay a couple extra hours to supervise the students, and then you all might be able to come in and do a tutoring program or sports or anything else that really interests you and interests the kids and the community. So I would look into that in your areas. And my thought is kind of like I shared here, tutoring is a really good way to get your foot in the door and to help meet a need for students in your community. And then you can survey parents, you can survey teachers, you can ask what other needs there may be, and see what might be a good match for your organization or your center members.
Okay.
Thank
I would like to thank our panelists for providing us with this valuable information, and we look forward to working with all of you in the years to come and expand our programs, different parts of the country. And I wanted to thank all the participants who have joined us to learn about these valuable opportunities, service opportunities we have. And I would like to pass it on to Asha now for
Thank
closing.
you. Thank you very much, Sister Sureka, and thank you, Kathy, Josefina, Yamini, for participating in what has been a wonderful insight into things that we can partner together and what the needs that we see in school and in community. I'm sorry we are really short on time to take questions. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions after that. We will reach out to you and then we'll answer those questions for all your to all your participants. And again, thank you very much. Happy to have all of you today and happy weekend, and join us for a very illuminating talk by our speaker, Dr. Suresh Govind after this. Sairam. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
నిస్వార్థ సేవ వలననే మానవాళి ఏకత్వాన్ని గుర్తించడానికి వీలవుతుంది. One can recognize unity of humankind only through selfless service.